Howdy, howdy, ho.
Oh.
Welcome back to the Brinx Hearse podcast. My name is Ryan McNeil.
Michael Frieri.
And you know, Mikey, sometimes you watch a movie just for an actor or actress. You like them so much, you watch that movie. And sometimes you're watching some really shitty movies because of it. But you still love those actors so much.
Yes.
And that's why today we're going to be looking at our top 10 favorite actors of all time. Not best,
No.
our personal favorite.
Not objective by any means.
Yes. Because there's some great actors who aren't in my top 10. And they might be more skilled, better thespians.
Yes, yes.
But I don't like them as much.
No.
So screw them.
Now, I would have to... It was hard to think about this because I'm like...
It was.
I always think about, I really like these actors. I don't know who I would consider even my favorite actor, you know?
Yeah, I didn't have one, like, locked in. Like, a lot of times when we make these lists, I'm like, oh, well, I know probably my number 1 and 2.
Yes, exactly.
This, I was like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
It took me a little while to fine-tune it. And then after looking, like, at all the movies together, I was like, okay, yeah, I think it's this person right here.
Yeah. And you know, I had to think to myself, like you said, what movies have I watched just because a certain person's in it? Or what movies have I watched where I didn't know someone was in it, and when they come up on screen, I'm like, oh, shit. You know?
I have, my number 1 has an example just like that.
All right,
And it was that fact that, like, put them over the top for me.
Good. I'm glad that we have a basis on how we're ranking this.
Yeah, because, and again, like, I'm taking range into account, but it's not everything.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So
maybe
you got some honorable mentions?
So I'll yes, name some honorable mentions. But once we get into the list, I think maybe I'll mention at least 1 or 2 notable performances. I don't know. I don't know what's considered like a really amazing performance. I just know, hey man, I know this person from this.
Yeah. Fair.
All right, you want to give your honorables first?
All right. I got Bill Hader, Tom Cruise, Adam Sandler, Tom Hanks, Eddie Murphy, Ryan Gosling, Bryan Cranston, Matthew McConaughey, Will Ferrell, Winona Ryder, John Candy, Jack Nicholson, Gene Wilder, Jack Lemmon, Steve Martin. I know. I'm pretty sure at least one of those people will be in your top 10.
So I have Will Arnett, Jim Carrey.
Good pick.
Thank you. Jim Carrey, Jeremy Renner, Bryan Cranston, Ralph Macchio, Brad Pitt, Daniel Day-Lewis, and the 2 most regretful slots in the honorable mentions is Adam Sandler and Jerry Stiller.
Oh. It's one of those things when we make these lists, we kind of just have to take Jerry Stiller off the table.
Yeah.
Or else we're just going to talk about him for 2 hours.
Very true.
Yeah. But who list like your first 3 again?
My first 3 honorables?
Mentions.
Will Arnett, Jim Carrey, and Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner, you like Renner that much?
I like him, yeah.
I like him too, yeah.
I once I started to watch more movies that he's not Hawkeye, I actually realized he's like really like pretty solid. I mean, I like him as Hawkeye still anyways, but with such a bland character like that, it never really hooked me into the actor.
Yeah. But yeah, see, his other stuff, like, you definitely get, like, he can be so intense without, like, outbursts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, I like that pick.
Thank you. How about you start us off since I started us last time?
Well, when I edit it, I have to, like, move the numbers to the other side. So for, like, consistency.
Oh.
And easier editing, why don't you just start with the 10?
Okie dokie schmokey. My number 10, I'm going to kick off with J.K. Simmons.
Oh, I thought about J.K. I thought about him.
Whether he's, J. Jonah Jameson, whether he's Fletcher, or whether he's Omni-Man. Just, even though he can be
Who's Omni-Man?
Oh, that's the villain in Invincible.
Oh, yes.
Although he plays very intense roles, for some reason he always reminds me, there's always just something so grounding about him. He seems just like such a nice, warm guy.
Yeah, because a lot of times he can play kind of outlandish-ish, I guess, kind of characters.
Yeah.
But they all feel like they can still exist in this world.
Yes, exactly.
They still feel like, there's still a humanity to
very believable, even though he's like just outlandish, like unthinkably aggressive at points,
Yes.
And I will say it's a little bit of a like it's outplayed now. Like I see on like TikToks all the time where people list like their favorite actors. It'll always give like snippets of them shouting. Like that's the only way a good actor can show their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that statement. I think there's more to it, but J.K. Simmons, not only is he just a great aggressive shouter guy actor,
he is a great shouter guy actor.
Yes, he's one of the best great shouter guy actors, I must say. But he just has such a way about him that I think is very like he always knows how to like reel it in to be human at points,
Yes.
Like Omni-Man, although he's a like serial murderer, killer, whatever. I'm not finding my words very well this episode. Yeah, there's still like those great scenes where he's just a believable father, and like same with Fletcher, where he's this manipulative and abusive teacher. He's also kind of you kind of you feel the accomplishment of being respected by him at points.
Yes, and I think especially in Whiplash, like you said, they show the scenes of like him yelling and this stuff when they're practicing. The scenes where they're talking, like towards the end when they're like at the bar and he's just talking, you're like, and you realize more of who he is. You're like, oh yeah, I know a guy like this.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know someone like this.
Yeah.
I like that pick.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, kind of a bit of a late bloomer. Didn't really hit it big until later in his career.
Yeah.
Now he's one of the most called on for actors out there.
That's right.
And he's playing Santa in a new movie. Remember that?
Yes, he's playing Santa with I forget what the movie's even called, but with The Rock
in it.
Yeah,
yeah,
and he got like jacked. Well, J.K. Simmons has always been like pretty jacked that I've never
Subtly
really noticed.
In really good shape. Yeah,
like his biceps are popping in Whiplash, man.
Oh, they are.
He must go to Bobby V's.
Go to Bobby V's, get yourself a medium shirt. You're ready.
Medium. Go ahead.
Right. My number 10. I got Al Pacino.
I
don't have
mentioned,
like,
but
yeah, I feel it's weird for me to say like, oh yeah, I got 9 people better than Al Pacino. I don't, but I like 9 people.
Yes,
better.
Very strange to say such a revered actor.
Yes, but I mean, like, let's just start off. Michael Corleone is like maybe the best character ever.
Perhaps, yes.
And his range to show him in just one movie, he's believably like just a guy who's like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody, blah blah blah, to like cold hard crime boss.
Mm-hmm.
He does it.
Right.
Serpico is a movie where he played a real guy, and it's one of those movies where I finished it, and I was like, it was all right, and I realized everything I liked was just him, and not a lot of actors can do that. Where I'm like, oh, I liked the movie, basically just because of this one actor.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has probably my best performance ever,
which
in
is
Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh, I don't know this movie.
It's an amazing movie. It's been kind of parodied a bunch of. He's holding up a bank, and they don't have a way out. The place is surrounded by cops, and they're like talking to the police in like the shop across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Great, grimy, dirty New York movie. And I mean, you have things like that. He was in a great movie like Insomnia, very understated performance.
Yes.
And then just recently in The Irishman, him as Jimmy Hoffa, should have won the Oscar, I think. He was amazing in that movie. Yeah. And I mean, he was like 80 years old, and every scene he's in, he's enigmatic.
Mm-hmm.
He still has that ability and that energy, that charisma. People hold him at this high regard for such a reason. And a lot of times those people are like, oh, they're one of the best actors ever. And sometimes I watch them, I'm like, yeah, they're good. Like, but they're not like fun to watch. He's fun to watch too.
Right. Can I say, actually, I find his goofy phase in acting to be my favorite, where he like just has like these random outbursts, like in Scent of a Woman and stuff like that, where he's just shouting for no reason. I think that's such good stuff.
And that's the thing, like, I would always, in most things in life, especially acting, give me too much rather than too little.
Yes.
10 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So when people are like, oh, Al Pacino was a little goofy, it's like, I'd rather him be goofy than like anything else, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen him give the straight understated performance 1,000 times. Right. I'm happy he's giving you something different.
Yes. Also, like we said about Michael Corleone, it's weird to see that Al Pacino can pull off a really good just mob boss, but in say Donnie Brasco, where he's just like older guy that he's kind of like he's very low in the ranks. He's looking to get promoted. He's kind of like not respected as much. He still he plays both roles very well, even though they're so different.
Yes. Did you ever see Carlito's Way?
No.
It's good. It's really good. He plays a Puerto Rican in it. Scarface, he plays a Cuban. Hasn't aged as well, I guess. But like Scarface, like aside from that stuff, like it's still a great performance.
Yes, yes.
And it's the opposite of also again, like it's the opposite of what Michael is. Like they're both crime bosses. Michael's cold and calculating.
Yeah.
Tony Montana is like bigger than he can handle it.
Right.
He's more erratic in his behavior than he should be. So it's Pacino, people. Come
on. Can I just say one thing? Can you do another movie other than a mob movie? Can he do something else?
I don't know if I listed anything that wasn't a crime movie, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. He was in Jack and Jill. I was about to say Heat, but obviously also a crime movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen anything that actually doesn't have to do with crime. Hey, he does it well.
Yeah, if you stick with your strengths, man.
Exactly.
My number 9 is the fortunately, only female representation on this list.
I only have one as well.
And that is Emma Stone.
She got a lot of consideration. Yeah.
I think
another person. I'll watch a movie just because of her.
Yes, because I find her to be such a personality on her own. She's a very goofy person and just a joy to watch, like at interview, like red carpets, stuff like that. Like she's always like cracking stuff, but she translates her goofiness and her just personality as a whole in her roles, which I think is like super cool. Like you get like that goofy dance scene in La La Land. She just she knows how to wear herself on her sleeve. I don't know.
Wear her heart on her sleeve?
Yeah.
Is that your favorite performance, La La Land?
Yeah, I gotta say so. I don't know why I'm thinking about it.
Because she does she's really good at something like Birdman, but it's almost like just giving like a good dramatic performance.
Right.
Like it's almost just like something she can do. Like it's not like it's boring to her, but like she can go on autopilot. Like she's at that level. It's impressive to me something like The Amazing Spider-Man, where I'm not crazy about that movie, but Gwen Stacy, more often than not, is just a nothing character.
Right.
And she makes it someone you care about.
Yeah.
And she does more for that character than the writing does. And it's things like that make her impressive. And I think the first time I saw her was in Superbad.
I don't know, but I think actually the first time I saw her was in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, actually might have been that. But anyway, it's Emma Stone. My number 9, I got a fellow who I believe was just on the outside of your honorable mentions. That's Brad Pitt.
He was very heavily considered.
Brad Pitt, I don't know if he said it himself or somebody else said it, but he's a character actor in a leading man's body. And when you watch enough of his movies, you see that's very true.
Yes.
Because I always liked him. I loved him when I saw the movie Burn After Reading. It's a Coen Brothers movie. It's kind of like a troll movie where the movie isn't supposed to make sense or be satisfying, I guess is the way to put it. Brad Pitt in this movie gives one of the funniest performances I've ever seen. He's this goofy gym bro. And I spoiler alert, something happens to his character in the movie where he's no longer in the movie. They kind of write him out for a little bit because Brad Pitt's expensive to pay for a whole movie.
Sure.
And I was genuinely upset. I paused the movie and made a sandwich. I was I don't want to finish the movie if Brad Pitt's not in it. And so that's literally one of my favorite comedic performances ever. And just last year, he did Bullet Train and Babylon. Babylon, great, serious, dramatic performance. Still has fun with it. Jack Conrad is still a character who...
He's probably the most fun character on there.
he has one of my favorite moments where he's drunk and they all go out to the desert, and she gets bit by the snake, and his wife tells him to do something, and he just like says like, "Oh, off to the high seas," and then he runs into the darkness before he gets hit by a car.
I think my favorite was when he's like filming like that medieval movie, and he's like pissed drunk, and the sun's setting, and he's like slowly walking up the hill, and everyone's like following behind him. Oh, that's so good.
And again, the same year, Bullet Train, he plays this wildly incompetent hitman, but still pulls off these great action sequences.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm trying, like, obviously Moneyball, we both love.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's another one where, like, with I don't want to say like a lesser actor, but with like a different actor, it might be kind of boring. Like, he's just playing a baseball GM.
Yeah, but it's also the type of thing that anyone could have really played, you know? But he makes it so much more special. Yes.
You got that, like Fight Club, obvious. Inglourious Basterds, obvious. Like, they're all different performances. He's in Megamind. He gave a great performance in Megamind. Yes. And like the Ocean's movies, I can kind of take them or leave them.
I've never seen a single one of those.
No. They're both good, but like he just gives like that and Seven, like he gives good performances. Like, it's nothing to write home about, but it's still him. He's still putting the work. Oh, I should also mention Snatch. It's a British movie. He plays I don't know if he plays a British or an Irish guy, but he has this perfect accent.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just a great actor altogether.
Yeah, I agree. What am I on? 8.
You're 8.
My number 8 is a man that no longer graces this earth. If he does, although I'm not confirmed on it, but if he does, very surprising. Probably be like 200 years old. I'm talking... What?
Just say who it is.
James Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart's been dead, yeah.
Yeah.
He also got some consideration. Yes.
He is probably the only reason why I watch older movies. Like, if he's in it, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Because you got what? I mean, you got the most notable ones. You got It's a Wonderful Life. You got Vertigo.
Yeah.
Rear Window.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's the best part about every single one of those movies. He just plays every character so well. Especially in, like, you know, It's a Wonderful Life. You could tell, like, how down on his luck he gets and how happy he is just to be home. He just goes through all the emotions, and which is surprising because, you know...
And you buy it.
Yeah.
It makes you buy it.
Yeah. I just feel like, although I don't watch a lot of older movies, I don't really get, like, the depth. I feel like I don't really see the depth from, like, a lot of people back then.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
I think he was... Like, him and Brando, I think, were, like, ahead of their time, where everyone else, like... It's like, you stand on your mark and you say your line loudly and clearly.
Yeah, exactly.
He feels like a person.
Right.
And I think with Christmas movies, people also, like, they don't want to, like, give credit to, because, like, oh, it's a Christmas movie kind of thing.
Yeah, people write it off very quickly.
Him and It's a Wonderful Life is, like, as good a performance as you'll ever see.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And, like you said, just paranoia, but a likability in Vertigo and Rear Window, movies like that. He's... Anatomy of a Murder is another great movie he's in. But, yeah, he was the best of that time.
Right.
I think, definitely.
Right. I don't know why I thought he would be alive, but...
He would be, he'd be 115.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not as bad as you said. He said he might be, like, 200 years old.
Also, it's worth noting, he is the most decorated actor of all time. Not in...
military-wise?
Military-wise, yes. Which I think is just so fucking cool. Anyways.
It's so wild. Like, you think back then it's like, oh, yeah, like Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio and Jimmy Stewart. Imagine if, like, oh, yeah, Brad Pitt and Aaron Judge, yeah, they got to go over to fight a war.
Well, like Elvis, you know?
Yeah, Elvis got drafted.
Yeah, imagine, like, your like, grandpa, like, great-uncle's telling a story, like, oh, yeah, like, I was in the infantry with Elvis.
Elvis.
Oh, yeah. I'm recording a podcast. Can you? Okay, thank you. Sorry.
You know, the podcast suite has its advantages, people.
It's okay. Go. You're what, number 8?
My number 8, I have Michael Keaton.
Okay.
I'm going to keep this one pretty short.
Oh.
It's something rare for me, I know. He did Beetlejuice, and then he did Batman in back-to-back years. Case closed.
That's all you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Birdman's good, too. Yeah. But,
you know, that speaks enough.
I don't need to say any more. Michael Keaton.
That speaks for itself. Okay. My number 7 is a man whose face, who we know more as a voice actor than anything.
Okay.
I think he's done like one live action role, and that was before. Yes,
okay.
Perhaps. This might be a little wild card here.
I'm with it.
Talking Kevin Conroy.
I like it.
Yeah.
We got 2 Batman back to back. Look at that.
And I'm not even talking just about like the animated series. I'm talking about the Arkham games, anything he's been in. He's just the best of the best. I think voice acting wise, Batman wise, for sure, my favorite.
Yeah, we've agreed. He's probably he's our favorite Batman, the definitive Batman. For us.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, he was the voice of Batman for like, I don't know, 30 years probably altogether.
Yeah. And it's a utter shame that he's gone.
Yes, God rest his soul.
Honestly, I don't think Batman will ever be the same without him. And that's how good of an actor he is. That's how good he's done this role.
Yeah, it is bizarre because I think I have seen maybe one of the animated movies where it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And it's like a different style and everything than his version, but it still feels weird.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, for someone, when a character is Batman, where there's so many versions of Batman, so many studios trying to make a definitive Batman, a live action, he's the one that stands the test of time.
Yes, 100% agree.
And he will continue to be Batman for years to come.
He is Batman. Christian Bale is a guy who played Batman. Michael Keaton's a guy who played Batman. Kevin Conroy is Batman.
Yep.
Now, my number 7. It's a little of a... I don't know. It's a bit different, I guess, because this is an actor who I admire his acting against... It's against people who aren't acting. He's playing characters in the real world, I guess.
Okay.
And that's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Ah! Yes.
This guy, Borat and Bruno, both Borat movies and then Bruno, multiple instances risked his life, put himself in some serious danger for our own entertainment.
Right.
And, I mean, people talk about commitment, actors do. People are like, oh, he lost weight for a role. He learned how to do this for a role. For Borat, too. They were making the movie when COVID hit. As Borat, he met a guy, and it's in the movie, and convinced him oh, if quarantine, I need a place to stay. And he stayed with this guy for 10 days. In character as Borat for 10 days. That is more impressive than anything Robert De Niro's ever done.
That is pretty impressive.
It's real life. It's so strange to say. It's still acting. There's nothing else you can call it. And it's improvisation. He's writing and acting the movie at the same time, basically. I mean, and Borat's a great character. Bruno's a great character. And, he's good in, I don't know, The Trial of Chicago 6, he's good in as Abby Hoffman. He's good in what's the movie with the clock? Hugo, the Scorsese movie.
Yes.
He's good in stuff like that, too. I mean, after doing what he's done in real life, going on a set and saying lines, it's lunch meat.
Right. This makes me think now. Would it have been acceptable if I put Joe Gatto of the Impractical Jokers on here?
Yes.
Ah, damn.
It's funny. They once did an interview thing where they said oh, who breaks the easiest or whatever, blah blah blah. And Joe's I never break.
No.
When I'm out there, he was
he's a machine.
When I'm out there, I'm De Niro. Yeah. He's straight laced.
He's like Mike Tyson, Mickey Mantle, Bo Jackson. he's an athlete. He's a superhuman athlete.
He is a superhuman.
That's a reference to an episode, if anyone knows superhuman athlete.
100%. Oh yeah,
the guy,
yeah.
the old guy.
Yeah, like holy shit, Jake Phillips or whatever.
Oh my God, this never happened before. I hope they never told him that. Anyways. Oh.
Okay, now we're on to your number 6.
My number 6 is Chris Pratt.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. For a long time, my first role for him was Star-Lord.
Yes, sir.
And he is, he deserves to be up here because he alone made Star-Lord my favorite MCU hero, or MCU character in the entire MCU. He plays. Oh, he also did Mario, which is a accomplishment.
Is that a? So that helps his case though. You don't take that away from him.
Oh no, I don't take it away.
Okay.
Okay. But he plays a character like he is in real life, like much like Emma Stone, where a lot translates over.
Yeah.
I feel like Chris Pratt, you could just say, yeah, this is Chris Pratt, just as a superhero. This is just what if Chris Pratt was a superhero.
I feel Andy Dwyer is probably just like Chris Pratt 5 years before he got the job. In all honesty.
Yeah, and people make goofs about like The Rock, like every Rock movie is just The Rock, being this. I say this in a good manner that Chris Pratt is he just takes his roles and just be like, what if Chris Pratt was this?
Yes. Yeah. The difference is, you still get the full range of emotions with Chris Pratt.
Oh yes, for sure. He has some great moments.
And it's with every Guardians movie, especially the second one. There are moments in the second one you're like, oh, this guy's not just like a movie star. This guy's a great actor.
Yeah, exactly. Also, in like Marvel and the MCU, actors, they kind of like get very diluted. They're like, they're just seen, they're just an action star. They're just a Marvel star,
Mm-hmm.
It's really those real actors that they have more to show of it,
Yeah. And we should give a shout out, great vocal performance in the Lego movie.
Yes, that too.
Yes. Very hyper, has all the energy to it.
Actually,
what?
I think the Lego movie might be when did the Lego movie come out, and when did the Guardians movie come out?
Same year. I don't know what came out first.
I think maybe the Lego movie is my first Chris Pratt role.
And Andy Dwyer is one of the best sitcom characters ever, probably.
Yes, I'm not too acquainted with Parks and Rec, but he was very notable when I did watch it.
He's amazing. And a shout out to Scott Hatterberg, who he portrayed in Moneyball.
Yes. No. This is my first Chris Pratt movie. And I didn't even know. But again, this is like one of the actors where I'm like, if he's in it, I'm watching it.
It's worth a look-see.
Yeah. Go ahead. Your number 6.
On my number 6, I have my lone female, I hate to say. And another, probably one of my only retro actor, I guess you could say. In the same era as Jimmy Stewart, was in a movie with Jimmy Stewart as well. Katharine Hepburn. They were in the Philadelphia Story together. She was very revolutionary for the time for multiple reasons. First of all, she was really good when a lot of people weren't that good, like we covered with Jimmy Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
She was also the first kind of independent female in a movie. She was the first woman to like wear pants on screen.
Okay.
She would wear pants, and like that was alone in like the 40s to be like, oh, this is scandalous.
Pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Yeah, she was a badass. And she had a great movie called Sylvia Scarlett, where she like pretends to be a man and goes around. It like a lot of boundary pushing, like performances and ideals in a lot of her movies. And she was probably one of the first like, I guess, actors who gave like feminist performances and like was a feminist in Hollywood. And she was the best because of it. I think she tells the record. She won 4 Oscars, and like over like 30 years apart or something. Her and Cary Grant did like 3, 4 movies together. Their chemistry is amazing, and like she had like very good dramatic things. Like she did a version of Little Woman, where she's amazing in it. But then she had like very light rom-coms, like Bringing Up Baby, and she's great in everything. Like she's someone I will watch anything she's in.
I don't know who you're talking about, actually. I never heard of her.
Okay. Have you heard of Audrey Hepburn?
Yes.
Okay, no relation.
Oh. Then why'd you say that?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyways.
We're moving into the top 5, folks.
Top 5. Bob Odenkirk.
I knew he was coming.
Hey. And once
It
again...
It helps that he played your favorite character of all time, possibly.
Being who?
Saul.
Oh, yes.
Saul up there? Yeah.
Yes. Jimmy McGill. Which is my notable role that actually got me into him. I think he made the show. He made the show what it is. And, I've seen him in other things before. Like, he's in a few episodes of How I Met Your Mother. He's in an episode of The Office. I've always been familiar with him. And then when seeing Breaking Bad, Breaking Bad, he was kind of just like his normal roles, where he's like this like funny guy, whatever. No problem. He did that no problem. But Better Call Saul, that's where it really gets into the nitty gritty, the emotion, the just psychological analysis of Jimmy McGill, and he plays it perfectly. And it's just one of the coolest. He's like one of the. It was just one of the coolest characters I've ever seen fleshed out. And then there's also like Nobody. You can tell he's having a lot of fun doing the action movie. And he recently made an appearance in an episode of The Bear. And,
I heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and once he showed up on the screen, my face just lit up. And he is
one of those guys. If you see him,
and he fits so well into the show. It was amazing. I've never seen. First of all, the episode in and of itself is amazing. With they have all these actors play the family. It was like a flashback. He does it so freaking well. Bob Odenkirk, my man.
Something that I think Shrosby mentioned would help his case. I think. Do you know the show? It's called Mr. Show.
No.
Him and David Cross were best friends.
Oh yes, that's right.
They still are good friends, and they did this sketch show on HBO.
Right. Yes.
And a lot of times, sketch actors are like some of the best actors because they have to they have to play so many roles in a single night. And Bob Odenkirk is amazing in it. He's hilarious in it. So we know he does this dramatic stuff. He's also done the silliest and dumbest of comedy that there is to exist. Because he wrote for SNL, he wrote for Conan, and then he was in Mr. Show, what him and David Cross did. It just set him on this trajectory that only he has been on. Like, no one else has this pattern of a career. And that's what makes him special.
That's right.
Now, my number 5, I got Mr. Harrison Ford.
When you being your favorite fictional character as well.
Yes, Indy. Yeah, and when you watch something like Raiders of the Lost Ark, I don't know what it is, but Harrison Ford just has it. He just does.
He does, yeah.
And, I mean, it's Indiana Jones. He's Han Solo. He's great in a movie called Witness, which he got nominated for an Oscar for. The Fugitive is an amazing performance that he had.
42.
42 he's great in. One thing that always confused me, though, was whenever people would ask him about, like, through the last 40 years, like, oh, would you play Han Solo again? He's like, no, I have no plans to do that again. When you ask him to play Indiana Jones, I'd play Indiana Jones in a heartbeat. They're basically the same character.
They are. It's what's kind of annoying to me about Harrison. It kind of makes me a little like annoyed, where it's like, come on, like you are so so loved by so many fans. Like, why are you so?
He's grumpy all the time.
He talks so bad about the movie all the time? Like, you never hear him say a good thing about Star Wars.
Not really, no.
It kind of breaks my heart.
Okay. And I haven't seen Shrinking, but I've heard it's like his first kind of. We know he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
But he actually does like a comedic performance, a comedic role. And I mean, it's Harrison Ford, people. I mean, he's probably still maybe. It's like him and Tom Cruise are like the two biggest movie stars still on the planet, and it's for good reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, Harrison Ford, number 5. Who you got at that 4 spot?
Rounding out the La La Land cast is Ryan Gosling.
I had a feeling.
I mean, I'm him. He's me. Anyways.
I know these things.
Exactly. That is the best Ryan Gosling line ever. Ever. It's my favorite. It's just a throwaway line in La La Land, and it's just... It cracks me up. I know these things. You know, it's just the best. And you see... First, I mean, there's so many roles that I can note. I mean, there's La La Land, obviously, which would be my personal favorite. There's Blade Runner. There's Can't Buy Me Love. There's Drive. There's Remember the Titans.
I was going to mention, Remember the Titans is one of those movies where he has such a minor role. But, like, if you watch that movie in, like, 2001, you could be like, that guy's making the most of his minor role.
Yeah,
like, that guy's special.
For sure, yeah. But I think maybe his most impressive role is The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
I know you would have liked that take.
I love The Nice Guys. But yeah, because sometimes, like a movie like Drive, like he's good in it. But like A Rock also could have played that role because like he just stares.
Right.
He still pulls off anything that isn't staring. So I'm not saying like, oh, it's bad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, The Nice Guys, he's hilarious in it. He has energy to it. He's frantic and incompetent a lot of the times at what he's doing. But he makes you root for that guy so much.
Mm-hmm. And another guy that I'll watch just because he's in, Barbie comes out tomorrow.
I am seeing it tomorrow.
Oh, you're seeing it tomorrow? I think I'm seeing it Tuesday. So
okay.
And I'm seeing Oppenheimer hopefully tomorrow.
I got Oppenheimer at 4 p.m. tomorrow and Barbie at 9:35 tomorrow.
You are really doing the double feature.
Me and iDubbbz are doing the double feature.
Good for you guys. I wish I could do that.
Yeah. I'm not. It's gonna be a long day, but
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it though.
You don't think you'd be able to? Okay.
Can you hear my dogs? By the way, they're going fucking crazy.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
It's all good. I hear you more.
Okay, very good.
But yeah, I mean Gosling. I mean after tomorrow, I mean, he might be my number one with this Ken performance.
Perhaps. Who?
Yeah.
I need to know like how can you play a plastic doll? Well, I mean, this is going to be a feat.
Greta Gerwig, man. Greta Gerwig.
You're number 4, my friend.
Probably the actor I've seen more movies than anybody else, and that's Bill Murray.
I knew he was going to be on this list. I knew he was going to be on your list.
I mean, he obviously made the big comedies. You know, your Ghostbusters, Meatballs, why am I blanking on it? Stripes, and he's great in them. And he makes those movies special.
Have you ever seen What About Bob?
Yes.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites.
His career, I mean, because he took 4 years off after he did Ghostbusters, basically. Comes back with Scrooge. Great movie, but still kind of the comedy thing. What About Bob and Groundhog Day were kind of the first times he like dipped his toes in like something a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
A little more philosophical movies, a little more dramatic performances. And he's absolutely fantastic in them. And then he kind of fully makes that transition with Wes Anderson with Rushmore. And he gets nominated for an Oscar in Lost in Translation. And then since then he's just done whatever the hell he wants. He's done pretty much every Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's something like Moonrise Kingdom. Life Aquatic of Steve Zissou is one of his best performances he's ever done.
Unfortunately, not in Asteroid City.
Yes, unfortunately, he's not in Asteroid City. I'm not sure why. It must have been conflicting with something.
Yeah.
But I am excited for... I believe he's in the new Ghostbusters quite a bit. I don't know how much, though. I actually just saw this. He did go out to the desert and he filmed like a little featurette thing for Asteroid City.
Oh, okay.
So, for whatever that's worth. But it's Bill Murray. I mean, he makes you laugh with such subtlety and very little energy a lot of the times. But, again, going back to, like, it feels like a real person. Mm-hmm. No matter who he's playing, like, oh, this is like a real guy. And there's so much humanity with everything he does. So, that's why he's number 4.
I knew he was coming. Another one that you, I think, can expect for me, my number 3, Kevin James.
Nice. I like it.
I mean, You got, which I think is his best role, Doug Heffernan.
Yeah.
I also had to dig deep. I was like, what are characters from what are like actors from shows predominantly? I mean, obviously Kevin James is predominantly a movie guy, but King of Queens is my most notable thing for him. So it was good to dig deep, see these different actors. But you get every Adam Sandler movie. He is my favorite part if he's in it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
He's my favorite of the Adam Sandler crew. I mean,
I'm not. No disputes, Mayor.
He's Paul Blart. He's Paul Blart.
I love Paul Blart so much.
Who else can pull up Paul Blart?
No one. No one.
You get him Paul Blart. What else? Here Comes the Boom.
I heard that one's good.
I'm blanking, but
he's very good as the officer in Hubie Halloween, and obviously
Hubie.
Grown Ups. He's great.
The best body actor I know.
Yes, and when you mentioned King of Queens, I was thinking he's probably like the best, because a sitcom, it's in front of an audience. It's like a play. Other than George Costanza, his performance might be like the best sitcom in front of an audience performance.
Okay, I can dig that.
Yeah, the energy he brings still has emotion to it, and like you just said, probably as good a physical comedian that exists.
Right. Yeah.
So I like that because sometimes actors turn in bad performances even though they're really good. Has Kevin James ever turned a bad performance? I don't think he has.
No,
he tried once. He won an Oscar.
Yeah.
So now on to my number 3, correct?
Yes, sir.
I got maybe the best ever. I got Denzel Washington. And I haven't seen a ton of movies from Denzel. I've seen maybe 7, 8,
Yeah, he's also another guy that I haven't seen much of, but that's all I need.
But I can't say I grew up watching Remember the Titans. Still one of my favorite movies ever.
Mm-hmm.
He's amazing in that. And then I think shortly before I went to college, I saw Malcolm X. To this day, I will probably say that's the best performance I've ever seen in a movie.
Really?
Just period. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's a 3.5-hour movie. He's in every scene, and it doesn't get stale. And then I think it's also very impressive. This is something he does because sometimes there's great characters that a lot of actors could probably do well. In a movie like Inside Man, he plays a cop. There is nothing special about this cop. Denzel makes him a super interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
He makes him just with charisma and energy and just little ticks, little things. He makes this guy special. Because unlike, on the other side, another great performance in Training Day, Alonzo is a great, great character, and he elevates it to that Oscar level. I haven't seen much recently. I mean, he's at that movie star level where he doesn't do 2 movies a year anymore. He does things when he wants to do them.
Right.
But I mean, I think he has another. Oh yeah, I think he's making an Equalizer 3.
I haven't seen a single Equalizer.
No, I think, even if they're fine, like they're probably just seem like lesser John Wicks. Still, anything with him in it is worth seeing.
I don't know.
But yeah, Denzel, Coach Boone. I'll follow Coach Boone anywhere.
Coach Boone.
Mm.
Number 2.
Those.
They got to be on the list somewhere. James Gandolfini. That's my Sopranos rep for this list. And the only role I know of James Gandolfini is Tony Soprano. I know he's done other things, but I honestly don't want to watch a single thing with him in it other than The Sopranos because I feel like
might mess with your head.
He is just Tony Soprano, man.
Okay. I think something that should also be taken into account when people think about actors, people think about awards, is like what they're like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
From all accounts he didn't do much press at all, James Gandolfini.
No.
But everything he did, he is such a quiet, like mild-mannered guy.
Yeah.
That makes his performance all the more impressive.
Yeah. And I heard he was one of like the best guys.
Oh yeah,
in the
everyone
business,
in the cast just sung his praises.
Yeah.
Just him as a person
Mm-hmm.
was great, apparently. But I have seen him in two other things outside The Sopranos. A movie called In the Loop, which is a very funny comedy movie, and he's great in it. Minor role, but he's hilarious in it. And then Enough Said, where he's the rom-com he did with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yes,
which he's also great in.
I know that one.
Yeah, and both of those, I think, are instances of he elevates something that didn't have to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And each time, I wasn't like, oh, I'm watching Tony Soprano, which is impressive in its own right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, for me, Tony Soprano is all I need to say. Like you said about Michael Keaton, this man is Tony Soprano, the best character, probably one of the best characters of all time, and the best acted performance for me of all time.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, because he did it for 8 years or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I like it. So now my number 2, I thought this guy was going to be number 1, but just didn't quite make it. I got, I think, quite possibly the greatest comedic actor of all time, Jim Carrey. He showed up in your honorable mentions. And the more I thought about it, I just thought, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, those are some of the greatest comedic performances ever. And then Cable Guy is a very different performance, still comedic, but hilarious. And then I go, Truman Show is something else entirely. Eternal Sunshine is something else entirely. Liar Liar, a comedic, but again, something different he's doing. So each time I try to go back and go through, I'm like, I just kept finding great performances.
Mm-hmm.
Something as simple as Yes Man, he makes a fun movie. Something like, oh yeah, what did I miss? A movie he did with Ewan McGregor, I Love You, Philip Morris. Crazy ass movie. He gives a great performance.
The Grinch.
I wanted to mention The Grinch. I don't love that. I don't really like that movie. Period. Everything I like about the movie is him.
Yeah.
His performance as the Grinch is reason alone to watch it. Because I don't give a shit about the Who's and Whoville. I don't think that stuff's any good. His performance as the Grinch is amazing. And the more I looked through it, I was like, just great stuff all around. Eternal Sunshine, Truman Show, and some of my favorite movies, too. Dumb and Dumber, Truman Show, Eternal Sunshine. 3 of my favorite movies ever. And he's the common denominator. So he had to be in there.
Good pick. Good pick, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Talk about depth. My number 1.
No.
Andrew Garfield. Surprised?
Yeah, I know you're a fan of Andrew Garfield.
Yes. I'm a little surprised too he made it this
I
high.
haven't heard you talk about Andrew Garfield on end. So it is a little surprising, but I like it. He's a great actor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. And again, another actor where I'm just tuning in because he's there. I think he is the best Spider-Man. He does a great job in Hacksaw Ridge. He does a great job in Under the Banner of Heaven. What the hell else is he in? I don't know. But Andrew Garfield is probably the most, I think, slept on. He's pretty slept on. People don't really see. I feel like he's so much better than how much credit he's given.
Okay.
And
I mean, going back to Amazing Spider-Man, he's a guy who, I really wasn't getting into the movie. He kept me in it because his performance is that good.
Yeah. And he was the only one, sorry, Toby, the only one I was looking forward to in No Way Home.
You weren't looking forward to seeing Toby again?
I could do without him.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much I like Garfield, man.
Okay. So, that is surprising.
Yeah.
I'm not
shock
knocking
me.
you. He's that good. All right, I don't know how he'll receive my number 1. However, this is also a gentleman I will be seeing tomorrow in the movies. Can you guess who it is?
Okay, so it's either going to be an Oppenheimer or Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Well, say your pick. Who do you think it is?
Michael Cera.
No, it's not Michael Cera. However,
then I don't know who it is.
He's number 1 right here.
Yes.
when going through, I realized Robert Downey Jr. is my favorite actor of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Because I went back and I said to myself, obviously Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man was the action hero of our generation.
Yes.
Every year you were going to be able to see Iron Man on the big screen pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And he was amazing at it. In all the phases of Iron Man. But then I took a step back and I did think also, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of my favorite movies ever. And it's because of him. Zodiac. He's great in Zodiac.
He is great in Zodiac.
Tropic Thunder is one of the best comedy movies ever.
Ooh.
And he's the funniest character in the movie.
He is.
Chaplin. If you haven't seen Chaplin, biopic about Charlie Chaplin, he's amazing in it. And then, like you said, sometimes when an actor pops up in a movie they're not expecting, Natural Born Killers. It's a movie with Woody Harrelson. It was like a good movie. Like, I was fine with it. Robert Downey Jr. shows up for like the last 45 minutes. Like, this went from like a 3-star movie to like a 4.5 for me. He plays an Australian TV producer they're in a prison during a prison break, and it's just, he makes the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I looked at this list, I was like, he makes this movie, he makes that movie. Just a movie like, a little movie like Home for the Holidays. And when he's very young, a movie like Less Than Zero and Back to School, he just pops in them. They're minor roles, and he really pops in them. And I mean, I don't know what else. Sherlock Holmes, he's really good in. He's loads of fun in that. And again, great British accents. He just has such a confidence and a likability to him. And that will continue tomorrow when I go to see Oppenheimer.
Good for you, man. That's a great pick.
It's RDJ, man.
It is RDJ.
Let me ask you, who do you think is your favorite on-screen duo? What are two actors you're like, I'm in?
Ooh. Good question. Maybe.
And it could just be like, oh, well, this one movie these two are great in.
Okay. Yeah.
Or multiple.
I would have to say. Oh no, they are in 2 movies together. It's Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone.
Yeah. I mean, Sebastian, you should get Sebastian and Mia tattooed on the back of your neck.
You're right, Ryan. What would yours be?
Probably Val Kilmer and RDJ in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Okay.
Their back and forth is great. Because
Right.
like they hate each other, but you can tell like they're not gonna let the other one die though. And they toe that line so well. However, I will say that's my favorite on-screen duo.
Okay.
My favorite off-screen duo is Mikey Ferreri and Ryan McNeil from the Brinx Hearse podcast.
Although
And this has
technically
been-
on screen.
Ah, damn it! You found a loophole.
My apologies.
Come to our houses.
We're not
see
even
us
on
in real life.
Spotify, so.
No. Come to our houses, see us in real life, and we'll become your favorite off-screen duo.
An interesting proposal, Ryan.
Hey, I'll drop my address just like someone did in our class sophomore year.
Yes. Yes, we should have
throwing
had
that
cameras
thing
for
out
that
there.
show. For class.
Oh God.
What a show that would have been.
We should have recorded those for to study.
Yes.
But anyway, this has been the Brinx Hearse podcast. Oh, I should say my.
Yes.
I had a slight stroke. This has been the Brinx Hearse podcast. My name is Ryan McNeil,
Michael Frieri.
and we wish you a Heidi.
that was a good ending, actually.